There's several early secrets you can easily miss in your Gothic playthrough that will help you out the earlier you get them, like the new mount, which wasn't even in the original game, or this permanent stat increase potion. I've structured this video so that you can follow it as a quick walkthrough and get everything you need along the way, but I'll also show you the map locations as you go so you can easily reach them yourself. The first thing I want to show you is how to reach the hidden hunter in the woods. He also hides a magical ring and will teach you some skills for free later in the video. The easiest way to do this is by starting from the old camp entrance just here on the map. Head inside and speak to Thoris, who's standing outside the castle entrance. If you keep asking him how you can help him repeatedly, he'll finally give you a quest to get rid of Mordrag. Now, Mordrag is located on the other side of the old camp at the other entrance on the south side. His hut is opposite the south gate itself. And he does actually sell wolf hide, which we will need later on in the video to craft a saddle for our mount, so I'd recommend buying that now. Then you can tell him there's a problem and warn him about Thoris. You do also have the option to kill him, but even if you're planning on joining the old camp later, this is definitely a bad idea. After befriending Mordrag, he'll then offer to take you to the new camp. Say yes, and he'll take you on a specific route through the woods. It's the same every time. He'll also kill all the enemies as you go, which you'll then get experience for, and you can loot them as you follow. Make sure you do this at daytime so there's weaker enemies that don't end up killing him though. Also, if you've not already, make sure you're also saving the game as you play so you can reload if something goes wrong. On the way, you're going to reach Cavalorn's hut. You can't miss it because Mordrag even tells you that that's where he lives. But for reference, it's right here on the map and you can come back here any time. I'll actually show you a more detailed way of how to get here a bit further on in the video. But there's several things we can do in this location and Mordrag will wait for you whenever you're out of range. Save the game and sneak into the back of Cavalorn's hut. This is obviously going to be easier when he's outside or sitting at his desk. Then you'll be able to loot the unlocked chest at the back of his room to get his key, which makes the next part of the video easier. Now we can go back outside and you'll find a cave behind Cavalorn's hut, which is guarded by two mole rats. Now the key you just looted is going to open up the wooden door inside, where you'll find two chests and a crappy short bow. Inside the chest is a bunch of materials that you can use to upgrade your armor later, including 3 leather strips that we will need and a magical ring of wood skin that boosts your point damage, which is your stab damage with weapons. There's also a bunch of crafting materials and a shadow beast skin, which you can sell for a decent amount of ore. You'll also find a light scroll and a beer on the floor behind you. You can then go back to Cavalorn's hut and you can buy 2 wolf hides from him that we'll need for the saddle later. But if you don't have enough, you can actually sell the wood ring to him for around 90 ore, but other merchants will buy it for more. For now though, you can continue following Mordrag all the way to the new camp. He'll be waiting nearby and then you'll eventually reach the new camp, which is located just here on the map. Once outside, he's going to give you his ring, which gives you +5 dexterity. Now this is actually a quest item you need to join the new camp, so don't lose it. Next though, from the entrance to the new camp, if you actually turn around and don't go inside, you'll find there's a bunch of wooden buildings through the woodlands. And beyond that, you'll find a large lake town. This town is abandoned, but the first cabin right in front of you is Jan's. Jan's hut is located just here on the map, just for reference, so you can see where the new camp is, and his hut is at the marker I've placed just below on the border of that lake there. This guy will actually teach you the unarmed skill once you're strong enough too. But inside his hut, you'll find a book called The Bestiary of Cronus, Volume 1. And it's just on his table, but I've already taken it. So go ahead and steal this because you can bring it back to Cavalorn in his hut, and then you'll get a new dialogue option where he asks if you've read the book on scavengers. If you then say yes, he'll test you on it. So here are the answers. Scavengers are armored along the upper part of the spine. Their skulls are hollow to amplify their calls, and they hang out in packs to guard their territory. After getting all those questions right, he'll then teach you how to harvest a scavenger's skull plate, which you can then sell for more ore, and every single scavenger in the game that you kill will now drop one. There's actually several other bestiary books to find as well, and each one comes with its own lesson. You can subscribe for future videos if you want guides on where to find those exactly. Next though, back at the lake house where we met Jan, if you actually continue on from his house towards the lake, you're going to find another ruined wooden building that has a locked chest inside. I wouldn't really bother lockpicking it, but if you jump into the lake beyond, you'll see there's a big wooden warehouse building which has even more loot inside it. But there's actually a much bigger secret directly under the rocky cliff. If you swim downwards into the lake and dive underwater, you're going to see some wispy sort of flows of water which indicate a hidden cave. Now make sure you save the game before you try this, because you're only just going to have enough breath to make it all the way through this underwater tunnel. Homer in the new camp will actually be able to level up your diving skill if you're struggling, which will allow you to hold your breath for longer. Once you're inside, there is a lurker in this cave though, who you can run past. You're going to find a body that has a permanent +1 dexterity stat potion next to it. So go ahead and drink that, and then you can just swim back out. Once back outside, you can actually find another cave opposite the fishing village on the other side of the lake, and that's guarded by another lurker, and you can just simply run past it to pick up the cutter weapon that deals 15 damage, or you can just sell it for a few ore. Next, there's one final thing we need to do for the mount, and you'll find this by entering the new camp and heading up the hill to the tavern on the lake. It's located just here on the map. Now once you arrive at the lake, you can dive underwater here, and it's here you're going to find the King's Tide plant. It's a type of plant that looks kind of purpley blue, and we need 5 of them in total. They're quite a common plant though. They grow in rivers and lakes, and you can find a bunch more of them near the old camp bridge, often mistaken for the old camp itself. You'll need a total of 5 for the quest to unlock the mount. Also, while you're at the new camp lake, you can find a secret underwater cave that's near the waterfall. Just jump off the diving board where the mercenaries normally train. Then if you go underwater and follow the other side of the bank, you'll see a wispy water current that leads into a secret cave. Inside, you're going to find a body in there that has a ruby and some ore to loot. Obviously, you can sell the ruby too. Unlike the original game, you can find a scavenger mount in the Gothic 1 remake, and the earlier you get this, the better, because it lets you run around the world really quickly. It's also surprisingly easy to get early on, considering how useful it is for the rest of the game. To get the scavenger mount for yourself, you need to go to Kozel's hut, which is located right here on the map west from the old camp. And here's how you can get here. Starting from the old camp entrance, turn around and head up the hill towards the cliff to the west. Follow the cliff path along until you get to this tree stump, and then right here you're going to find a mudslide that you can safely go down. Then just follow the cliff around to the right to Cavalorn's hut. And now from here we can follow the path down through the valley, and on your left of the mountain you're actually going to see Kozel's hut. And if you just follow the path onwards and make a left and then a sharp left up the hill, you can go right over to him. You'll also notice how he has a pet wolf named Daisy and a scavenger that he actually rides around. So talk to him and exhaust his dialogue, and then you'll be able to ask him about his scavenger. You actually need to repeatedly ask him about the scavengers over and over and over until he eventually says that he's going to help you get one finally. So the first thing he'll ask for is the 5 Kingsweed, for him to craft you a whistle so you can actually call your mount whenever you like. I already showed you how to get the materials for this earlier, and it's timestamped below if you want to go back. The next thing he asks for is for crafting the saddle. He needs 2 leather strips and 3 wolf hides. I already showed you where to buy all of those materials, but there's actually 4 wolves behind his hut if you do want to kill them and skin them, but it's a very tough fight, and probably impossible early on in the game. After you got those materials, he'll craft the saddle and tell you to return tomorrow to pick up your scavenger. So when you return the next day, he's going to give you that whistle he crafted. If you then hotkey this item, you can press it at any time in the future to call your scavenger whenever you need it. It will then appear and you can jump on its back and just start riding it. This thing is absolutely rapid compared to walking normally. You can even run past enemies while you're on its back as well. But if an enemy does hit you either with a bow or in melee combat, your character is going to take that damage instead. And also when you get off the scavenger, it's going to run away. It's not going to help you in combat. It also can't enter the town either. But since it's much later in the game where you unlock fast travel, this is incredible to have early on. While you're waiting at Cavalorn's hut just here on the map, you can actually climb up the wall behind his house towards the ruined tower. However, the front door of this tower is locked, so to get inside, you can find a hidden key over the mountain if you just follow where I go. You see these 2 bandits below you. Make sure you take care here just to drop directly behind them, then you'll be able to loot their chest, which is unlocked. And and inside you'll find the broken tower key. Then afterwards you can carefully climb up the wall in front of you and then turn around and jump to climb here up to where you were before. If these bandits catch you, they'll actually ask for all of your ore and then attack you if you refuse. But you can run them into nearby enemies to get them killed. Either way, once you're safely back at the tower, you're going to drop down to the front and open the entrance with the key we just found. And then you can head up the tower to the first chest. Now this is a 6-plate lock, and I am hoping after all the complaints that the developers nerf the lockpicking system, because currently even the easy chests are very hard and time consuming to lockpick. Once you open this one though, you'll get a sword, firebolt scroll, lockpicks, arrows, and 26 ore. Then if you make your way to the top of the tower, you'll find a nice view and another lock chest which hides the iron skin ring. This actually boosts your blunt and edge damage by 10 each. Absolutely huge early on and very worth lockpicking this chest for. Now if you are struggling to lockpick, don't worry. I'm going to put the lockpicking calculator linked below in the description. It's basically a piece of software that solves the puzzle after you insert the different parameters. So you just have to write where the starting position of each pin is, and then it's going to be able to calculate the formula for you, which tells you how to solve that particular lock. In this next video, I'm going to be showing you how to get unlimited ore and some very powerful two-handed weapons right at the start of the game. I'll link it down below in the description.